Hello, crew. We are back with another Made for Mars episode, and we're just so excited that you could join us today as we continue to build the most realistic simulation game and help humans thrive on Mars. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about specialties today and why they play such an important role in building a self-sustaining city on Mars. And remember, this is all backed by real science so that you can actually build your legacy on the red planet. So if you're ready, let's get right into it. But before we start, you already know I need our resident Mars expert and founder, Hunter, to help me on this mission. So let me get him in the room with me. There he is. What's up, Hunter?
Hey everyone, good to see everyone.
Well, so good to have you. Thank you for joining me on yet another Mars endeavor this week. Really glad to have you on.
Yeah, specialties are a great subject, so it's going to be exciting to get into them and talk through all the great details.
Well, we're ready. I am ready to learn. I know they're ready to learn too. But before we start, guys, we want to inform you Hunter has internet experts working on his lines today. Let's just put it that way, okay? So, in the event you experience any disruptions on your screens, please be patient. Hopefully, it will be short lived. If not, you're stuck with
Yes,
me, right?
I
We're going to
might
be all
turn
right.
into a robot partway, so
Yes.
apologies in advance.
It's okay. Sometimes robots come in and we're okay with that. It happens. But we just want to warn you guys, just so you know, hopefully it's short-lived, but just bear with us. All right, Hunter. Last week, it was all about colony development. This week, it is all about power ranking your specialties. I'm really excited about this. Um, Let me bring us to our briefing segment. In our briefing segment, we're going to learn what are specialties, why do we need them, and what makes ours unique. Uh, I think I know the answer to that because it's real science. But in our development segment, Hunter has a live demo for us. He's going to show us how to choose your specialty, how to level up and power rank your specialty, and also how to optimize your resource chain. Guys, you don't want to miss this. And then, of course, we have another challenge for you this week, but not before we give you a report on last week's challenge and announce those winners. So make sure you stick with us until the very end. And yes, as always, let's remember that this show is not a financial advice, is not a legal advice, definitely not a relationship advice. Hunter and I are just two enthusiasts. We love to talk about science, game, and the red planet. So be sure to do your own research. All right, boss, I'm ready. Let's get this party started. What are specialties? Why do we need them? Take it away.
Yeah, so specialties are the crucial roles needed to build a self-sustaining city on Mars. And we've developed them in tandem with scientific advisors. And ranking your specialty is really what enables you to increase your rewards and also to kind of boost the growth of the colony. And it will eventually help us deliver key insights to drive Mars R&D. And I'm going to just quickly show, like, one of the coolest parts of this is the achievement system too. So you can basically get a sense of accomplishment and show off to others. Each achievement's actually a non-transferable token, which is crazy. And it's like an everlasting digital trophy case of, Mars glory.
Nice. I want to have that trophy.
Yeah. And
I'm
I
building
pulled up,
one.
I pulled up what I have here because I'm in the builder specialty right now. And I just claimed the shadow one, and you can see on wax, I have the shadow and non-transferable token right here, which is cool. And the other thing is that with achievements and just with specialties in general, you get a competitive edge by progressing as you go, because you're getting skills, and those skills sort of compound as you rank up your specialties. So
Well,
the
yeah,
power,
I want to bring up our each specialty here too, so you can walk us through each one of these. Go ahead, starting with that technician there.
yeah. So technician is a power specific specialty around nuclear power and solar panels, and making sure that the foundation of the colony is sound. Operators are manufacturing and core ops. This is where repair tokens come into play. Builders focus on construction projects. Refuelers are powering rocket convoys with fuel. Researchers are about data and hunting breakthroughs and innovations. Managers help manage basically astronauts and make sure they're happy and healthy. And then the all-rounder is, really the survivalist, the jack of all trades, and that one's expert, of course. So we can talk a little bit about how we've ranked the difficulties.
Yeah, do that because I was just going to ask, like, for example, I would, based on what you explained, I would love to be a manager, but do I have to work my way up to that? How does that work?
It's definitely a good strategy to start at the easier ones and then go to the more difficult ones. But the key breakdown here is that the easier specialties have cards that are easier to manage, which means they have simpler resources. So things like power systems are a lot simpler to manage, and they output power, which is sort of the foundation of the colony. So you don't have to manage some of the harder and more complex resources. So it's typically better for beginners. But if you get all the way down to the expert specialties or sort of the advanced ones, you're looking at managing more complex cards, more complex items on Mars, and outputting higher, rarity items, or sorry, not items, but uh, uh, resources.
Right.
And you also have more challenging items to manage. So it's definitely good to try to start with the easier ones. But if you've been collecting cards for, over a year, you have a good collection, maybe you want to try for, an all rounder or something that's a little bit more challenging.
Right. Well, I also want to ask you because I would be a beginner, so I'm going to start easy. But could it be that, let's say, technician becomes a popular role and then everybody is, or the majority become technicians? Is there like a balance or does it cap out?
So each specialty will be designed to cap out at level 20. We currently have level 13 as the maximum right now. It does take quite a while to get to level 13. But the specialties and the skills that you're getting are individual to you. So they're specific to your collection and your cards. So, what's also really interesting about specialties is you can change them at any time. There is an opportunity cost to change them, which we'll get into, but really, it's about your skills and how you want to progress those. Um, Unique skills are also a really key thing to look at with specialties. Each specialty at level 9 has a unique skill. So for the builder, for instance, that unique skill is like 10% more construction materials get added to your contributions for construction projects, which is really unique. It's a different kind of skill, definitely something worth looking at. And so, yeah, you can either master one specific aspect, one specific specialty, or you can spread out and try different specialties. But I think we're going to be hard pressed to find two players that are doing, the exact same thing, which
Right.
is it's a very comprehensive system.
Well, I think I'm going to start with technician and work my way up to to a builder. I'm dressed like one today, so I was very inspired. But I want you to talk to us about the benefits. You mentioned some of them there. Go ahead and tell us about these benefits as well.
Yeah, so each specialty has sort of four categories of incremental skills. Increased resource production basically means your item produces more resources than someone without that specialty. Decreased resource consumption means you're consuming less per hour than someone who doesn't have that skill. Higher hazard resistance means your cards won't get deactivated as easily. and then lower repair costs mean if your cards get deactivated, or if you have an ownership card, if your item gets damaged, then those costs will be lower. So those are kind of the four key areas of skills, and it's really about sort of flexibility versus consistency. So you can switch your strategies at any time, but there is an opportunity cost of doing so. And so it's recommended to kind of select a specialty that aligns with your collection. That's probably the most solid strategy, so that these skill areas align with what cards you have in your collection.
What stands out to me the most that you said earlier is that our system are based on real data that will help us colonize the actual planet. That's really cool.
Yep.
Talk to us more about what make our specialties so unique. And I have let me bring up this graphic here for us.
Yeah, we're really excited about this because, scientific advisors have identified these as being the core competencies required to actually colonize Mars. And we've aligned these core pillars with the operations of Mars colony building. NASA does not have a playbook for skills that are required for a successful long term Mars mission. They're focused on short term skill needs, objective based skill programs for highly trained astronauts. But what we're really looking at here is what is a skill set that at a societal level can result in humans thriving on Mars at scale. And
Mhm.
so it comes down to infrastructure, which is about managing equipment such as power systems, operating vehicles, operating uh, battery arrays, operating construction. Expansion is about how do we go from the city to a larger sort of civilization on Mars. That's a really key skill set that needs to be explored and this system covers. And then social is another really critical one.
Mhm.
How do astronauts stay happy and healthy? And then also, how do we continually research and innovate on, the different areas of Mars? And that's where the innovations from colony development come into play.
So then how does our specialty gameplay lead to real Mars research and data here?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is there's different phases of that. So certain specialties will be more in demand at different phases of colony expansion, just like in real life. You know, will evolve as the colony grows, and this informs us uh, sort of in real life which skills are most essential for colonizing Mars and training real humans. There's also going to be a blueprint that we develop alongside our understanding of which specialties are most in demand. Um, and this will help us train humans to Mars on those real missions. So, determining which skills are most useful, which versus which ones aren't, because humans to Mars missions are significantly more complex than things like a moon landing or things like even a flyby mission. So we need real data to inform the process, the baseline of what skills and what specialties make the most sense and align with things like the realistic environment on Mars and the payloads that we send up and we have in our simulation. We can't guess on those things. We really need to know how players interact with those systems, and this chart here shows basically we intend on continuing to refine and sort of dive into new specialties alongside help of scientific advisors and our community to really build out even more of a skill tree, essentially, of the skills needed to colonize Mars. And the
Mhm.
last thing I'll say is kind of what we envision the specialty system to be is almost like credentials. So, flight simulators have been used to train fighter pilots for decades. And, your in game time and specializations are essentially the credentials to prove your flight time as a Mars colonizer. And,
Mhm.
we would like to develop the system so that the credentials and the time and the skills that you learn are used to help qualify you for Humans to Mars mission ops in the future.
You can you also show us the skills tab in the game as well?
Yeah. So
That's a neat one. I want our viewers to see this.
let me log in real quick. Actually, apologies there.
All good.
I got logged out for a minute.
All good. Take your time. We're going to bring up the skills tab so Hunter can walk us through that as well. And then I have a couple of questions there for you.
So here's the skills tab. And as you can see, there's hundreds of skills to increase so you can find your niche in a vast Mars economy. And these are some of the skills that I've gotten as I've leveled up the builder. So you can see here, I have a production increase of 2%. And that's because I've leveled up to level 5 of the builder. And this is a really easy way for you to see the different skills and um, how they result in, progression. So it's a really cool page. Definitely check it out. It's under profile, and then there's a skill tab there.
Wow, I mean, I see that it I now really understand why specialties are such important jobs. Clearly, we need them to build like you were saying, self-sustaining city on Mars, and to also grow our Mars legacy. And the more you explain it, I see that we didn't just put things in the game for the sake of it. We actually talk to real scientists and use their knowledge to make the game so realistic, right? And that's what really sets us apart from any other games. At least that's how I see it. So guys, as Hunter mentioned, each specialty in the game has its own advantages. You can produce more resources, resist hazards better, and even save on repair costs, right, Hunter?
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's why I think choosing the right specialty can really make a difference here. You kind of have to be strategic about that. Am I right?
Yeah, and the conversation with the scientists and also the community, I think, is another. It's just such a cool part of this because the reality is we're kind of doing cutting edge stuff here with
Yeah.
the skills needed to develop a Mars colony, and we can't do it, without the community. So it's cool that we've developed this system, and I wanted to emphasize again. I think there's a lot of ways that we can develop this alongside the community to really make this a comprehensive and basically world class system in terms of how humans can thrive on Mars.
Yeah, exactly. And guys, if you have questions, go ahead and start putting your questions in the chat. Ashes is here with us, and she's going to bring your questions up for us. So starting right now until all the way through the show, go ahead and ask us questions. You want to ask questions. Hunter is here, and he's going to answer them. So take advantage of this. You see that it's all about ranking up your specialties here. And that is also what this week's challenge, guys, is going to be all about. As you know, I like to tease you guys with our challenge every week and just tease you with the prizes. So here it is. I'm just going to say this. The challenge has to do with, of course, leveling up your specialty. And 5 winners have the chance to win some extra credit here. More info on that a little bit later, so make sure you stay with us until the very end. I'm not going to say much else about that. All right, Hunter, I'm ready. I know you have a demo for us. I'm excited to learn. Let me see if before we get into the demo, I just want to make sure we don't have any questions. Actually, we do. Hold on. Asha's got a question for us from the community. Will there be more specialties introduced?
So yes, that will probably be, starting with, yeah, there will be more that we want to introduce. Obviously, we have 7 right now, but yeah, we'd like to introduce more in the future for sure.
Let's master D7 first, guys.
Yeah,
I
a
feel
lot to
like
master.
we have a lot to master. Let's not jump the gun. All right, Hunter, I'm excited for your live demo. Passing the controls over to you. Show us how to choose our specialties now.
Yeah, so the first step is to go into mission control, and you have a button here that's change specialty. And so I'm going to click this, and that brings up a list of the specialties. And each one you can actually learn more about by just clicking the learn more button. And this shows you, things like strategic production, required consumption, difficulty level, all of that. And then I'm just going to change to refueler, and you can see that it will basically just update my specialty to refueler. It reflects that in the resource chain, and I can start leveling up my refueler. But I'm going to go to the builder again because that's my personal favorite.
I do want you to show us after that how to level up, as you were saying. But yes, go ahead. This is a builder. Okay.
Yeah, so if I go into the builder, there's strategic production. So this means that there's a particular resource that aligns to the specialty. In this case, it's construction materials. And so the point of the builder is to produce as much construction as possible for the colony and do it in the most efficient way. And so those are kind of the two metrics to rank up specialties. And so
Mhm.
as I go down here, you can actually see that the requirements are produce a certain amount of construction and maintain a percentage or greater of efficiency in construction production. So just for a minute, what I want to show is up here, this is your efficiency bar.
Mhm.
And right now mine's at 100 because apologies there. I'm actually going to show what one looks like when it's damaged. So this is the
Okay.
builder, and I have 44% total efficiency
Mhm.
because the cargo rocket ship has 0% health, the one that I'm supporting. So that means that of all of the item types that I'm supporting, there's one that's damaged, which means that my efficiency has gone down to 44%. So I really need to focus on making sure that all of these, all my collection strength is active, which we've gone over in the past, and then that the cards that I'm supporting, the ownership cards, are at 100% health, and that will make sure that my efficiency is as good as possible.
How do we, this is one area I particularly needed explanation. How do we optimize our resource chain for leveling with our specialties?
So the first thing is you want to meet your input requirements. And so if I go into my resource chain, you can actually filter by the strategic resource. And you can see that there's 4 items that are producing construction materials. And so I need to make sure that my consumption here is being met every hour so that I can produce the maximum amount of construction materials.
Mhm.
And so these are items that are, let's say, midway in the resource chain. So if I take off the filtering and then I just scroll down, you can see I have this whole resource chain, and then right down here you can see construction is down here. So I'm looking for power, engineering labor, logistics labor. I need to have produced that in my resource chain before this point in order to make sure that my construction materials are being produced. So that's the first thing. You can
Mhm.
do this by importing resources into the game. We talked about that in a previous episode where you can use the transfer tokens feature in your profile. You
Mhm.
can also buy more cards. You can have cards that produce the resources that are required for consumption. But we ultimately just recommend you balance your collection with the cards you have.
Mhm.
Um, and as an expert, you sort of can gain intuition on resources and the ebbs and flows in the economy and capitalize on that. So it's a large part becoming an expert is aligning your specialty with the market needs. So
Right.
yeah, that's pretty much how you optimize it.
So, I mean, it's like the prerequisite is resources, right? You have to have those resources.
Yep, resource chain is really the foundation of the Mars economy, and it's the foundation of what allows humans to thrive on Mars. it's primarily a resource-based economy. So yeah,
Right.
that's exactly right.
Well, while I have you here, I do want to talk about hazards too, because we need, as you were saying, we need high efficiency to level up our specialty, but hazards can prevent us from doing so, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, if you have any items that you're supporting that have a lower health, or they have, um, or your base cards, which get deactivated by hazards, if those got deactivated, then it decreases your specialty efficiency, and you need to keep in mind that there's a percentage threshold for each level of each specialty that you need to stay above. So hazards are really what are driving the reduction in specialty efficiency.
Well, this is why it's important, guys. And I just want to remind everyone of our Mesa Alert system. As Hunter talks about hazards, this is exactly why it's important to be receiving those Mesa Alerts. So if you haven't connected your game profile to our Discord, you need to do that, because that's the only way you're going to get ahead of these hazards. Right, Hunter? What's our saying? We have a saying for this.
It pays to stay up to date on Mars. That's
Yes, it
that's what Mesa is
does.
all about.
Yes, exactly. So make sure you guys, if you haven't done this yet, make sure you go on our Discord channel and connect your profile so you can get those alerts. Let me just summarize this, because you're giving us a lot of information. And guys, ask questions. This is why we have these live conversations, so you can ask questions, because Hunter is giving us a lot of information here. But let me just summarize. So to level up, you have to produce specific resources, right? Maintain your efficiency and use UI to optimize your resource chain. And to do that, you have to meet input requirements, import resources, trade them, and then balance your collections, all the while getting your hands on those NFTs. Did I get it right?
Yep, that's it. And we have those one-on-one videos on YouTube to kind of break down each piece of that chain and that sequence of events. And I think we've done a good job of building up to this point where these are a little bit more complex systems that really support the strategic aspect of the game. So, yeah, I think you hit it on the head. That's really where we're at.
Right, and then also hazards too. You have to mitigate those hazards. Those are very important. But at the
Yep.
end of the day, the goal here is to power rank your specialties. Power rank your specialties. We can't say that enough. And also, that's what this week's challenge, guys, is all about. It is about power ranking your specialties. But before we announce this week's challenge, let me remind you about last week's challenge. We asked you guys to drain those resource stockpiles and contribute to our very first ever convoy rocket ship right here. Look at this beauty. Isn't she beautiful? Hunter, check this out. 100 million fuel were added to the colony, and over 1 billion construction tokens were added to the construction pool. That's bullish.
It's great to see. That's awesome that there were so many materials added, and that system is working well. So we're very happy with that, and thank you everyone for kind of participating in colony development. And it's just it's kind of day one there. It's just the beginning of the expansion process.
Exactly. We love seeing you guys participate, and it just keeps us going. Also, 10 crew members were selected to win this 25% voucher right here to a future colony development convoy. So be sure to be on the lookout on Twitter to see if your wallet was selected. Asha's got all those wallet addresses ready to go, so keep your eye on our social. All right, Hunter, if you're ready, let's do this. Let's go ahead and tell us about this week's challenge.
Yeah, so this is a really unique and I think fun challenge. So we're gonna ask you guys to rank up your specialties and whoever has the highest collective specialty rank points wins. So the example that we're giving just to illustrate this challenge is, if you rank from technician level 1 to level 3, you'll get 2 points. If you also rank up researcher from like level 9 to level 12, which is that one's going to be pretty much very difficult.
That is
Operator level 5 to 6, that's basically a combined points of 6 points. So the total rank point score is what we are going to measure, and I believe we're going to award the top 5 point totals
Yes, we are.
with
5
a
winners
rank,
right there.
yeah, a rank up of one specialty to one additional level of their choice. So, just some tips on this, like changing specialties is free. It's very easy to do. I just showed you guys how to do that. So, try out some different specialties. This is really meant to, uh, you know, see what specialty you guys like, and then also, you know, really just try them out. And we also have a 101 video around the specialties process coming out next week, I believe. And then the only one wallet's rank score will count against the player's total specialty rank. So don't combine, two or more wallets. Don't do that.
Yep.
We're just going to count one. And if there's a tie, the highest single specialty and experience towards the next specialty wins. So those are kind of the parameters of the contest. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, again, Hunter is giving us a lot of information. So let me reiterate for you guys. As Hunter said, changing specialties is free. Now remember, only one wallet's rank score will count against the player's total specialty rank. You cannot combine 2 or more wallets for a total rank score, right? And then to enter, you have to take a screenshot of your collective specialty rankings. And then tweet it to @Colonize Mars NFT. You have until Wednesday, May 17, and that's at 12 a.m. Eastern to submit your entries. And then as Hunter said, 5 winners will receive 1 specialty ranking to the specialty of their choice. And then the other thing I also wanted to say, Hunter, was we have already taken the snapshots, correct? So they have 1 week from today.
Yep, we took them 4 hours ago. And so if you've been ranking up your specialty, you basically have 1 week from today to get as far as you can, with specialties. And that point system will be shared on Twitter, so you can reference that. But just go start ranking specialties. That's all you need to do, and the rest will be, captured on our end, and we'll distribute those rewards.
Go get in the game right now, guys, and start ranking those specialties. Hunter, we have a couple of questions. Let me see what we got here. Does all specialties have the same value?
They don't. Every specialty has items that are strategic to that specialty. So, technician has power systems, so that's about solar panels and fission reactors and mega power reactors. And so, the value of that specialty is you'll get rewards that benefit those specific items. But if you choose something like the builder, then the items that are getting value essentially are the construction materials items. So they differ in sort of their benefits. So you have to weigh the cost and the benefit of each specialty and decide which one's right for you. And we recommend that you look at your collection. So what NFTs do you have, and and then look at that side drawer in the specialties view to sort of see which items are aligned to that specialty. So the more cards you have that align to a specialty, typically that's the best one to try.
Thank you for that. And then what is the frequency of convoys, roughly speaking? Is it once a month?
It's actually once every 6 weeks. So they will be going every 6 weeks. Construction projects are every 2 weeks. Innovations are every 4 weeks, and convoys are every 6 weeks.
Thank you for that. Hunter, as we start to close here, I want you to remind us all again one more time, why are these specialty roles so important and why do we need our community to participate?
Yeah, so they're crucial roles needed to build a self-sustaining city on Mars. We've developed them in collaboration with scientific advisors. Ranking up your specialty enables you not only to increase your rewards, Martia and resources, but it also unlocks really cool achievements and it boosts the growth of the colony. So it's also going to help us deliver key insights to what skills and what areas of expertise are truly valuable for planning humans to Mars missions in the future.
Thank you. And I have one more question for you. Can we expect Mission 5 in 2023?
Yep, we're going to be introducing new items, so we'll keep you guys up to date on the schedules there.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for teaching us all about specialties and helping me persevere in yet another Mars endeavor this week. It was so great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing you next week.
Yep.
Thanks, Hunter. Guys, you heard it. The snapshot has been taken. Go and start ranking your specialties right now and participate in the challenge. And that's it. That's all the time we have for today. Remember, keep communications open with us on Discord and on Twitter for any updates as we continue our mission to grow the Mars economy and help humans thrive on Mars. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Meta Mona. Until next time.